Hey there guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to play some Super Sidekicks 3. I haven't really, there's not really like sort of a plan that I have going forward or anything like that. I'm just sort of making this up as I go. Just so you know, there's not really much of a method to the madness. Initially, the sort of theory behind this was I want to play a whole bunch of games so that I have more stuff for future videos, which is the reason why when I started doing this, I was playing those really crappy US Gold games about the 1994 World Cup. But this time around, you know, I think I just want to play a little bit just sort of for fun and sort of see what happens. Let's go back to Asia. In fact, I want to play with Vietnam. Let's see what Vietnam was like back then. So let's see. We're going to call ourselves just FMP. And we want definitely a speed power up. We're doing this football manager style, baby. Let's do the Asia tournament. Maybe then we have a chance of getting somewhere. So I played Super Sidekicks 2 not too long ago. You have sort of an idea of what this game was like. This game is very similar to 2. There are some people who posted actually on in the comments who talked about how they like this game better than 2. I actually, my favorite in the series is probably 4, and I mean, even as we start playing this, I can sort of see once again why this is not necessarily my favorite game of the series. Again, that, yeah, that part is cool. Yeah, lights out, you know. The biggest issue that I have with this game is the sort of 3D backgrounds and stuff in the back, which just doesn't look quite right to me. So I'm not a huge fan of the way that it works in this game. I do like number 4 better. Having said that, I honestly think that the best game in the series is the first game. Which maybe we should play a little bit more of. Or this one's fine. It's a goal for us. The animations are really cool, right? The guy shouting out goal is really cool, right? Stuff like that is neat. But compare this to, you know, International Superstar Soccer Deluxe that we played yesterday and just sort of like think about the differences here, right? I mean, because this game's out, it's, so ISS Deluxe is a little bit newer than this game, right? This game is like 1995, I think, something like that. I don't know, I think it showed us a second ago what, I think it showed us a little, little bit ago when we started it. Why would he do that? I'm gonna take a free kick backwards, okay. I think it showed us whatever year it is this game was produced. It's definitely, you know, newer than the ISS games, but it's not that much newer, and it's similar technology. You know, one of the problems with the Neo Geo is that, like, this is like the sort of amazing technology that the system could really show off, which is not really that great. I mean, it's okay, but when you're talking about a system that was like, you know, twice as expensive as everything else, you know, you would expect for maybe a little bit more than this. You know, I would be looking for something that maybe is a little bit more impressive than this type of technology, right? Anyway, that's the other problem with this game. The final whistle is already blown, so you only get 1/2. That's it. I hope you do well. Anyway, if we lose here, which we probably will, I'll probably just keep us going. As you know, Singapore is a real football powerhouse. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today a little bit here is all of the sort of political turmoil and everything that we've been feeling here. Things here in the United States have been going kind of crazy. Not so much here where I live, since I'm in the DC area. We're kind of far away from the worst of it, or at least it hasn't quite come to us yet. But the stuff happening over in Minneapolis is really concerning. And today has been a really kind of odd day for that. Of course, the other big news here is the major storm. Of course, if you're watching this in the future, then you already know like around what time it is I'm recording this. But the major storm is the really big news story, at least here locally, even more than political protests and stuff like that. And I will say that after seeing the video of what happened earlier today, I think that, oh man, he's injured. Wounded. Not injured, he's wounded. Ah, that was excellent. Good free kick. Don't push that button. Whatever button that one was, that is not the right button to push. Anyway, I was going to say that, you know, in terms of protests and stuff, like, you're not going to see as many protests as you maybe should over all the stuff that's happening. And this is because it's too cold. You remember that, you know, the George Floyd stuff and all that stuff, that happened during the summer. It was during COVID, sure, but it was during the summer, and that's kind of one of the things that made that really, really remarkable at that time. We haven't had a single shot on goal. So I would say that the other issue with this game, at least if you're playing kind of the poor way that I'm playing, is that the challenge, we went from really easy to really, really difficult pretty quickly. There's a little bit of a major sort of challenge gap here. And then the other problem we're going to see in a second, which is that if you don't win, you just don't win. There's no way for you to do anything, so you have to like score as fast as humanly possible. Final whistle blows, and since you didn't win, you can't continue. See? But we'll go ahead and we'll replay. Let's see if we can do a little bit better this time. I mean, you know how it is. I got to get the video up to 8 minutes, right? That's at the bare minimum. But it's not just that, right? Like, the real reason why I want to do this, why I want to play and stuff, is honestly because, you know, it's really relaxing to me. It's a lot of fun. You know, I want to have a little bit more fun with this. Somebody was commenting on ISS Deluxe that we tend to forget that these games were supposed to be fun, and I agree. Like, the most important thing is that you're actually kind of having a good time playing the game. You know, not necessarily that it's the most realistic thing in the world. So that's kind of what we're going for here. Others have been asking about Bobingen. I'm still a little bit behind. I still have to go through and do the I don't know if I'm going to call it like a transfer special or whatever. The thing that I have to do is I have to make it so that we can like get to the next stage, right? So I'm in the middle of the winter off season. Anyway, so we will probably end up with a couple of changes here. Dude, why? Why does that happen in these games? So we get a corner. But why did that happen? So apparently US Gold was not the only company struggling with the concept of having the AI kick the ball forward in a free kick instead of taking it backwards. Taking it backwards and out of bounds. That's a great idea. I wonder if you get any own goals from free kicks. There's one for you to look up historically. Has anybody ever done that? Free kick and you end up booting it back into your own net. Yeah. Now the part of this game that I love is that I'm running around fouling guys left and right, and I get nothing, and they end up being the ones who are given the yellow card. So that's a classic. So we know which button not to push. So we didn't push that one, we pushed the other one, and now we're doing a little bit better. Anyway, so yeah, Bobingen's going to come back. It'll be the return of Bobingen. We'll make a real big deal out of it so that everybody knows about it. And then after that, I don't know exactly what else we're going to do. Oh, shoot, they're going to score, aren't they? Bro, these guys are offside like crazy, man. And what's my other defender doing, right? I've only got one guy to defend 3 of them? Come on, man. We can do better than that. And see, now there's like no time left. Let's do this again. I'm not giving up yet. So the other thing that I wanted to say, and I mentioned, I was sort of alluding to this a little bit yesterday in the video, is that, you know, FM26 has been awful, and I do think that it does a lot of damage to Sports Interactive and also to people who sort of make these videos. So I had my video talking about how awful FM26 was. It actually did fairly well for a while, but long term it hasn't really done that well, and this is sort of the thing I was worried about. You have to be really careful with negativity, and so as a result the channel has kind of suffered a little bit recently. Like, you can look at it and you'll see that, oh wow, there are 20,000 subscribers. Yeah, but I haven't gotten a video in quite some time with anything near that in terms of viewership. And there were some bigger and I think more impressive videos that I'd done in the past. I'm not sure if I want to do the same thing again, though. One of the things you have to understand is that sort of like the things that are happening in terms of like Football Manager videos is you're seeing a lot of guys who will create content where they don't really play the game. Instead, they're kind of like holidaying through a whole bunch of seasons and coming up kind of with the results, and then putting the results together using highlights and stuff like that, you know, stringing all that together in a video. I mean, it's one way to play. I know some of the guys who do a lot of that, and they will tell you that, oh, well, this is just the way that I want to play and stuff. Like, I do have respect for that, you know, but having tried that myself, I can tell you is definitely not my favorite way to approach Football Manager, right? In other words, instead of focusing so much on like the long-term huge end story of the save, I would much rather focus on like, you know, some of the smaller things that you see during the save, or some of the things that, you know, happen in everybody's save that we usually skip over, or stuff like that. And instead of that, what we see a lot of, there we go, we finally scored a goal with this team. We'll enjoy this here for a second. That's a great shot. I'm kind of wondering who put that animation together, right? Is that really the angle you wanted from this player? I mean, like, yeah, that's a little bit out there. Anyway, but yeah, so the problem that you have is that you end up sort of playing Football Manager, but you're not really playing it. What you're doing is you're just sort of gathering information together for, you know, your video, and that's it. And so you don't really have sort of the fun of playing it. I would argue that a lot of these guys have kind of like a disconnect with the community as a result, because you're not experiencing the same game. We're not going to win this game. We'll just do this once, I think, and that'll probably be it. Now, so that's a problem. And then the other problem is that when you have a game like FM26 that's legitimately not a good game, it's seriously a bad game, then you're like, so what do you do with your channel? And I do worry about some of the creators whose channels are like 100% Football Manager based, because you have no other options, right? All that you have, oh man, all that you have is Football Manager, right? It's one of the reasons why I kind of want to do this sort of stuff. Let's have, you know, some experience playing some other games, do some game reviews and stuff like that for stuff in the past, you know, because nobody else is doing it, and this allows us to have something else, you know, for the times when FM is really, really bad. My initial plan for FM25, which never came out, was to do sort of like a blitz on content. I was going to do like shorts and all sorts of stuff like that, and you know, play as much as possible, and you know, create just tons and tons of videos. But then it didn't come out. I became kind of disillusioned, and we have what we have now. One thing I'd really like to do, and maybe I will do a little bit of this, is look into the different, you know, the changes to like the 3D mode of Football Manager and stuff over time. Because there have been some pretty interesting changes over the years. The hard part about that, though, is that while you can do like, you know, just sort of like an exhibition game with every version of the game or whatever, you don't really want to do that. I mean, what you want to do is you want to have a save with everything, right? And that's kind of what I've been doing right now with FM17. But if you're going to have a save, you want to really have a save, right? You want to have like an actual storyline. So anyway, that's kind of where that's going with Bobing and what sort of the theory is behind that. I can't get this keeper to leave his position. Throw in. Anyway, I'm sorry to say this, but this will likely be a draw. Oh man, and unless if we could have gotten around to that in time, that would have been it. That was our chance. The other thing about this game that's not much fun is that the pass button is exactly the same as the shoot button, which can be really frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let the time just run out on this one. Ooh. Anyway, so everyone's upset about that. You can hear all the whistling from the crowd. And that's how this one ends up. So there you have it for Super Sidekicks 3. You can sort of let me know what you think about that game, if you enjoyed it or not. I have a headphone here now. Yeah, there you have it. I do like 4 a little bit better. We'll do 4 not tomorrow, but the day after, and we'll chat about that. Hopefully some FM17 coming later on tonight, so look out for that, assuming I can get us to that stage first. Maybe it'll be snowing by that time, so we'll see. Talk to you later. Bye.